Okay, so we are started up. I'm giving it a few moments to see if PhantomBot actually wants to tweet out today. Also to make sure that the um, stream chat actually works in case we get anybody coming in. Okay. Interesting. Okay, looks like I gotta tweet it out myself. Unfortunately, due to the resolution that Ultima 7 and by extension Exalt runs in, this, as you can see, has the bars on the side. I could push it off to one side, but the game runs at, well, by default it's 320 by 200, but it's got a point scaler option, so it's 1280 by 800, which is of course then being downscaled to 1280 by 720 and might not look the best on stream. So I wasn't really thinking about that too much. We are not going to view the introduction. We are going to start a new game. Unlike prior games, I am going to go with my my screen name for this. And since we're running Exalt, we actually have the options of the Serpentile portraits as well. Generally speaking, they look a bit odd in comparison to everything else, and the fact that they'll be on screen so much kind of makes me hesitant to use them. They're a very different art style than the rest of the portraits you see. In this case, I think I am going to go with the female character, largely because the gender does not matter. So. And every other game I've been playing recently has had a male character, so. And in Ultima 7, they introduce us right off the bat to things actually going on. I'll try to leave text up on screen for a moment past when I was reading it. I know not everybody reads as quickly as I do, and I know that not everybody is expecting to read all the text. Especially since there's no background, it can be kind of difficult to read even though it is outline text. And one of the reasons for this, I don't remember which Ultima game it is. Basically, every time you return to Ultima, you return to the state that you were in when you first arrived. So this statement actually has no meaning, no bearing whatsoever. But this is YOLO. Yes, like the hashtag you only live once. But it's IOLO. Pronunciation's the same though. And I'm already, not giving time to read. Now, sometimes that shaking doesn't happen enough that you can't get in the stables. Or maybe it's you have to go over to the other side. There is a lot of text in this game. A lot of it is unimportant. A lot of it essentially just acts as filler, but it keeps the game kind of feeling consistent. Here we're being asked if we want to investigate this murder. We haven't yet seen the murder. Okay, so apparently it was the murder of a man named Christopher and a gargoyle named Gargoyle named Inamo. We've not yet gone in the stables. It will be, especially for a game of the time, a fairly gruesome scene. And that, if I could actually open up the thing, that is our first clue. It's a key. What is it a key to? We don't know yet. And one of the things that I really like about the Ultima VII system, although this is because the portrait is taken from Serpentile, is we can move things around, we can equip torches, we can light them. But that's irrelevant for now since it's light out still. There are bags. Bags are far more important, because you can also hold bags, and your backpack has a limited amount of space it can store. In this case, food doesn't really matter. I don't think cups do anything. Not sure that the bottle does anything either. It might. Do we get... Nope, we don't even get a targeting thing if we double click on the cup, so it really does nothing. And yeah, we cannot interact with the corpse of Christopher, although we can interact with the corpse of Inamo. That's promising. I know for a while there, Exalt was bugged. Well, not necessarily bugged. They probably fixed switches so that it stopped being quite as horrifying. But basically, in the base game, Ultima, anything that you can use a bucket of water for, you can use this bucket of blood instead. Now that doesn't seem that relevant. I mean, how many video games is a bucket of water relevant? Ever. This game is a little bit different. This game, as we've already seen, has some interactions that just aren't common for the time. Because this was a 1992 release. Now here, I'm not really reading this. I believe we need to go through this to ultimately get all of the information to get out of town, because right now we can't leave. I mean, we could go over and try to click on this, but the guard will stop us. But and the important thing is the key. Now, one thing that I don't know when it will start come up is the manual for this game is actually written in character, in universe, by a character we will meet named Batlin. He is related to this whole fellowship business, owing to the fact that he started it. But him, as far as anything of relevance, will not come about for a while. Now, that statement that he just made there, the town's rune of honor was taken by one claiming to be the Avatar. That very well could have been the actual Avatar in Ultima 6. Or 5, I don't remember when the rune was taken. And Spark is arguably the most important character in this game. Well, not the most important, the best character in this game. Not for any of your normal reasons of having actual character or being important. Mostly because he just has the best stats of anybody that's not the Avatar. And that, right now, that's not even true. The Avatar has crappy stats. The thing that makes the Avatar unique is that the Avatar can cast spells. And sometimes double-clicking doesn't actually work. I don't think Ellen says anything important. But there's not really any reason not to talk to everybody, because if nothing else, it does kind of help with the world building. And actually, we can... Yeah, we can go, and she will tell us to go see Batlin. We'll need to do that eventually anyway, so... Now... I don't believe those rings are anything important. That gold, though, which I believe is this one, is... Now, I'm opting to pause the game for this, but it really doesn't matter. Most of the reason I'm opting to pause the game is because that way any interaction I do will just be opening stuff rather than trying to have the Avatar interact. And pausing is something you cannot do in the base game. Pausing is an addition from Exalt. And for the record here, I am running this at 5 FPS. This isn't because the game is so difficult to run or anything. It's because 5 FPS is, I believe, the closest to the original certainly the closest to what I remember it running at. I believe that to a certain extent it kind of ran uncapped originally, so if you're just moving along, it is a little bit slower than I remember it being, but we kind of can't have everything if we're trying to play this on modern systems. And I far prefer running this in Exalt with some of the bug fixes and just general stability improvements. The game even patched was pretty buggy, and most of the bugs weren't really relevant, but a fair number of them would just cause the game to crash. So, with Exalt, almost nothing crashes it. Oh, those are gems. We want to steal those. Now, in prior Ultima games, there was a karma system, so you didn't want to steal everything that, wasn't bolted down. I think that. And here we see one of the issues with the version of Ultima we're running. I believe, yeah, we can change that to no. And we can see that that goes in the spot that kinda is going towards the waist, but so does the bag. Now I'm gonna change the paper dolls back on because I kinda hate those. Ah, this is Shantu's house. And you will see why I remember his house as being the one with a banana in it once we meet him. So right now we are doing the standard generic go around steal everything. I think we will eventually want those crates. Yeah. And both of our party members right now actually have armor, pants and boots, so that's not a concern. I'm checking the crates because I don't remember if there's anything of relevance in them. And one thing we can't really do now, but I can show off the interaction. I don't think this sword blank will actually start getting red, but I can at least show off the basis for the interaction that became relevant in Forge of Virtue. Ooh, gloves. Yeah. Do want to steal those gloves. And throw those pants on the floor. Just in case we have anybody that doesn't have pants. And no real reason not to steal money. I don't know if generic cloaks do anything. I don't think they do. I'm not sure this game has cold in the same way that Serpentile does anyway. And we have more boots and gloves. Actually, I can't equip the gloves. And I don't remember if that's called a Morningstar mace here. which is a much better weapon than the dagger. And yet more equipment for us. And a shield. And there's gloves over here, which we'll need to remember once we actually go and pick up Spark. So far we have done nothing of value and have stolen some stuff. We're doing okay as an avatar. Here is another spot where we are going to want to steal some stuff. Specifically, if we can get away with it. Darn it. Well, I am going to drop a quick save. Because we also want Sexton. I'd say we want Flower, but that's not really true, and I don't know that Flower actually does anything in this one. I can show it off anyway. But we can see that there's a handful of items here. The most important one probably being that gold bar. Stealing it could be very useful. And could probably shortcut a later item that requires a gold bar. Here we have the trainer for this town. I could talk to him. I didn't talk to the ship guy. Now, training is interesting because it's the way you raise your stats. Oh, I clicked out, so the music stopped. Training, actually, is very important. The major stats are combat, well, for 90% of the time, are combat and strength. The avatar stats are going to get maxed out by an event in Forge of Virtue, so it's not really relevant raising the avatar stats. So everything there is going to be strength. But there's one particular trainer that focuses on strength. And we won't have access to them for a while. So, we won't be doing any training right off the bat. And here looks, very promising. Oh, and here's one of the interesting, sort of unique weapons, the Great Dagger. Everybody kind of remembers it as a weapon that's one-handed and it's like a two-handed weapon, but it sucks. Now, there is some good stuff up here, but we want to make sure that the shopkeep here walks south a little bit. What are you doing? Come on. Now, based off the fact that he has the Fellowship Medallion, if you had read the manual, you would know that, generally speaking, Batlin kind of seems to hate the Avatar. Seems to believe that the government basically was falsely stating up the what the Avatar had done and blah blah blah. It's not really important most of the time, but generally speaking it means that you don't want to introduce yourself as the Avatar. That and the fact that there are fake avatars. Just... Well, is he having issues with that? No, it appears he's just broken at the moment. Okay, well, we'll come back to steal that later. We have more important things, like Spark. And this small child is Spark. About the only person that you probably should introduce yourself to as the Avatar. So, Spark, as I mentioned, has the best stats, and it's not going to be obvious why when he joins us. But like I mentioned, when we get to training, the oddities with training really make him the strongest, and the strength-focused trainer actually has the oddity in place that makes him so ridiculous. Basically, while he starts with considerably lower strength, and really most stats, compared to, say, YOLO, after 2 levels, which is just catching him up to YOLO, he will be considerably better. He'll only have matched YOLO in strength, but that combat stat that I mentioned being the most important, he'll be most likely tops in the team. So it's possible that Shamano or Dupre will be a little bit higher. Or if we have Sentry, possibly he will be higher. And I'm mentioning a handful of companions here. Generally speaking, the companions are not... There's reasons to take the canonical companions, and there's reasons to take, in addition to Spark here, 2 additional ones. The reason to take Sentry is because he's essentially just as good as your canonical companions. And here we see our first little bit of interactivity. 169 south, 28 east. Okay, so the auto note messed up. Or maybe it's... Maybe it's just Exalt is still kinda buggy with that. And one of the nice things of Exalt, if I remember the key combo, I'm still thinking of it in terms of Serpentile, because that's what I had played most recently. I think all of those are necessary. And... Spark does not have pants. Good to know. And one of the interesting things with yeah, he also doesn't have shoes. No, I want that. This is one of the... You know, it might be that the sling is two-handed. I don't think it is. Okay, I guess it is. Whatever. As I was saying, one of the issues with the paper doll system when brought back into Black Gate. Oh yeah, that's right. This would be taking up the same spot. Is that sometimes it just doesn't work that well. And yeah, I can just drag stuff onto whoever to get the items. And we still have not seen the healer. And we never talked to the ship person. Ooh, this is one of the most important items in the game. You see this pair of boots? These are the only boots that are at all different in any way, shape, or form. There are magic boots, they are worthless. Swamp boots are the only boots of relevance. And the reason for that is there are poison swamps. And if you have swamp boots, you don't get poisoned. All boots have the same defensive value, which is to say all boots have 1 armor. I don't know if armor is a stat we can actually see, but they all provide the same level of protection. Leather is equal to magic is equal to swamp. And shipwright. That is what he was. So there's really no reason to go after any boots that aren't swamp boots. Now that's not true for some of the other games in this series. But for both of the Ultima VII games, now, Owen is an interesting name there. We will be hearing of Owen again. Nope, we've already stolen one from you. And the deed's also not really relevant right now. Not that we have the money for it anyway, but I believe... Yeah. Oh, we can drop another cup off. YOLO starts with an abacus. We can tell how much gold we had. And I was stealing the food because there is a hunger system in this game. It's not the worst. It's far from the best, though. Oop. So... we can see that there was an argument. And Elizabeth and Abram. Note that they will always be referred to as Elizabeth and Abram. And this is one of those things in which I'd like to say that Richard Garriott had some foresight. Now, I will go into that later, but it's just one of my favorite little touches in this game. Oh. I was thinking that was the southern edge of the town for some reason. I guess I just got caught up on tiny barriers. This is the worst part of this. It wasn't even for anything good. Just for that, I'm stealing that cake. We were in here earlier. Everybody has everything, but Spark used some pants still. There were pants in his dad's blacksmith, so we will go steal those. And I could just hit the 3 button to bring up Spark, just like I can bring up YOLO with 2, but my hands aren't always close to that, so. And I have no idea what Spark is doing. Over here is where the healer's area should be. And just like with the bringing up character paper dolls, we can talk to people by using the number keys and spacebar. And, by the way, this is that Shantu that I referenced. I kinda wish there was a way to state that, you know, oh, it's not our medallion, it's Spark's dad's medallion. But somehow I suspect that, you know, being that much of an asshole was kind of beyond what Garrett was expecting players to do. I don't know why, given that, you know, in Ultima Online, you know, a few years later, his character, he had to make sure to turn on invincibility every time, or else, you know, somebody would kill Lord British, and he knew that people would kill Lord British, which is why the invincibility flag existed. I mean, everybody wants to kill Lord British. It's something that's been available in the games from word go, practically. I don't know if it was in the first ones. But there is a way to kill him in this game. And we just need to go through this dialogue tree. It's mostly unimportant. And here we can actually see 2 of the 3. I don't think either of these say anything. They just complain about you hitting them. That's not the important one. That is also not the important one. This is the important. Now, if you can read this, it makes it pretty obvious that, okay, black potions will be useful and blue potions will be useful. And, well, orange might be useful, but really not so much. There's a spell that does it. Purple, basically never. Yellow, sort of, but it's kind of weak. But green. Poison's very, very weak in this game. If you feed somebody blue potions and then kill them with green potions, it's not traced back to you. In fact, I don't even think it counts as a murder. They're not angry. Like, if you kill a character in combat and then resurrect them using, say, Lord British, or I don't know if one of the healers can do it, but I know Lord British can. Their AI breaks. They essentially become statues. I don't know the reason for it, but I do know that the AI breaks. And generally speaking, it's not something you want to happen. Conversely, if I remember correctly, he is even further up there. Jeez. Just making it impossible to steal. And I think we have done everything needed to go talk to the mayor and get the password and get the heck out of Dodge. I of course need to find where he is. Oh, that would be a sign that YOLO wanted to eat. And rather than actually going into our inventory, I said screw it and just used the hotkey for food. I have no idea where the mayor's house is. And you might think, oh, we have a map. Yeah, we have a map. Can you tell based from that map where anything is? I can't. Ooh, we can actually steal some more food. Now we might be just in the wrong area for this. Although part of it is, I really don't remember where the mayor's house is. Might it be this house that I didn't enter before? You know, the large house with a desk. And if I was to walk up, probably the mayor in it. Huh. Why do you have your office hidden behind... I don't even see the levers right now. I do still like that though, that effect. I mean, I'll freely admit I am bad at seeing the levers most of the time. Oh. Because they're not even lever activated doors. They're just hidden. This game is the stupidest of times. And I don't remember which is the better weapon, so I'm just stealing both. And this is a not filled out horse and carriage license. So not actually useful. Yeah, up here's the mayor. And we can report. He was a blacksmith. We found a key. It opened a chest. And it's odd that it actually mentioned trapdoor there. I don't think there are any trapdoors. Yeah, the man with the hook. Crown jewel. So. Okay, so. Longitude that runs through the center of Scarabray. Now, fortunately, every more recent copy of this comes with some kind of answers sheet. Because there's no way I would be willing to actually use the map to do this crap. And latitude for Scarabray. Blackbird. And actually, I'm just going to go up and show what's in that weapon and armor shop inventory, even if we can't steal it right now. He's in the secret area. There is some chain stuff. There is, oops, a crested helm. There aren't that many defense values available for helm either, so that's good. But it's I don't know if it's that much better, or even actually is better than the chainmail there. There's a bow and some arrows. There's a crossbow and some bolts. There's a two-handed hammer, which is, as I recall, a pretty good weapon. And those are called... Oh, it's not here. Somewhere we could find it. Those are called... Oh, it's in the options. I think it's gameplay options? Gumps. And you can actually make it so that you can turn off the gumps pausing the game. I don't know what that middle mouse button does. Oh, is that... That's really nice. I will have to keep that in mind. Okay, so that's not even an important one, so we can safely stand on that. And we want to drop the bolts onto YOLO. And I can't remember if an axe or a hammer is stronger. Among the two-handed varieties anyway. I don't believe there is a difference between those two types of shields. What? Strange. As we are the melee character, we want all of the best gear. And you can see that that also has a little portrait. These are our Mangosh. I don't recall them being worthwhile. I'll grab one. Oh, yeah. While the... Oh. Bow is not relevant, especially at the moment. I'll grab it anyway. With someone. Those arrows are useful. But basically, if I remember correctly, a lot of our weapons cap out at around a damage figure of like 8 or so. And this great dagger, which is okay, I think is a 5. I think like the sword and the mace and the morning star are 6s or 7s or possibly 8s. The two-handed weapons, I believe both the ones we have are 10. Later magical weapons are much stronger, just much better in general. But we can leave town now. And that's always useful. We don't even need to talk to the guard. We can actually just go over and activate the thing ourselves. And because we know the password, YOLO, no. Yeah, this is one of the things with YOLO. He is a bard. Okay, so our next task is pretty clearly to go up north. But I didn't show off the cheat room. And since we're done with Trinsic anyway, no reason not to show off the cheat room, and I'm going the wrong way. So, the smith actually has a secret. Also, these are a pain to stack. I'm getting absurd luck with this. I say right as I mess it up. Now, I think... Oh, I actually think I know the issue. I think that puts us one short. Yeah, we cannot quite get onto that roof. So we need some of the chests and such from over here. Just a handful of extra crates and chests. I always have trouble positioning the chest, so we might actually not end up using it. It's kind of finicky. So, just 2 more, and we should be able to get up on there. And we could, you know, do this, I guess they stopped the, they no longer make the characters vomit in there. We could use our hands to, grab those. But we have far more important things we're doing with our hands, like holding weapons. And the big secret is back here. Now, this has, of course, money and lockpicks. I'm stealing the lockpicks. I hate lockpicking. Oh, I would be stealing the lockpicks, but they're too heavy. How much do lockpicks weigh? And we're already running into the issue of we can't see anything in our inventory. So, you know something? I'm going to restore. And we are going to find this torch. We are going to put it on, light it. Now, this is, you know, full of fantastic gear. But there's plenty of good gear in the game. So, getting the gear early isn't really why you come here. You can come here for the money, sure, and that's really not that much money. The reagents are super useful. The plot items over here are important, but only if you manage to lose your own actual copies. But the reagents and the spellbook, I always appreciate that it comes equipped with the Armageddon spell, just, you know, tacked there. I'm not gonna grab the spellbook. We're gonna get a crappy spellbook soon enough. Also, I still think it's weird that this used to be 9th Circle. Why was the 1st Circle changed to the 0th Circle? I don't get it. I am stealing the reagent, though. If we, you know, have somebody who has the weight for it. Oh, neat. That doesn't actually matter, though. But that's a bug that happens occasionally with Exalt, with the paper dolls. Sometimes they just mess up. Okay. So does that provide? Yes. They're not that heavy, ultimately. And just so you can see what all weapons are in here. It's a Death Scythe, a Hoe of Destruction, both of which we will come across legitimate copies of. A Juggernaut Hammer, I believe we'll come across a legitimate copy. A Hawk. I don't remember which character comes with that. If it's not Janna, we're not going to come across a legitimate copy of the Hawk. A Magic Axe, an additional Death Scythe for some reason. An Avatar. An additional Magic Axe. And a Lightning Whip. And of course, after that, there is this room, which is just a whole bunch of teleporters. Now, a smart person would have, you know, remembered which one of these goes where. I, however, am going to say screw that noise and just return to Trinsic. Yeah, the game has with the cheats built in, has a built-in teleporter, built-in all sorts of stuff. There's even a hack mover, although the hack mover for Exalt is not quite as capable as the hack mover that was built into the base DOS version was. Actually, you know, I don't know that that's true. I'm gonna save real quick and check that out. Basically, the way I will do that... Nope. Not as strong. The base version doesn't care about size or volume or weight or anything else. So... it's still odd to me that Exults does, but, you know, c'est la vie. If you have the hack mover on, it's not really that big of a deal because things that you're not supposed to pick up tend to just have massive weights rather than massive volumes. Like, let's go over to this ship real quick. The hold is too heavy, but I believe it's actually very tiny when it comes to volume. I'm stealing all that fish. Food doesn't go bad in this game. There's no reason not to steal it. Whoa. Bonus fish. I never showed off the flower stuff, did I? Well, I'll need to find a table for it. Since I don't think it works on the floor. You know, I think that this table will probably work just as well as any because there's not a... That was impressive. Oh, and I don't want to burn out the torch. Oh. That's what I was trying to do. I just... what? It might require a specific height of table. This might not be the flower I was trying to do. Well, those are kitchen tables. At the very least, it should work on one of those. Yes. And we have that bucket of blood. And tragically, it does not work. So let's go find the well real quick. Fortunately, there's a well right here. Don't want to move the dog. And I need to remember the hook. We can get to the crank. Okay, you know. The bucket has... How did we hold the bucket in the first place then? The characters are allowed to break the rules of physics, but the player is not. And somewhere around here is going to be a well that maybe I'll have a little bit better luck with. And if not, I won't get to show this off until later. Not that it's really important, all I'm trying to do is make a dough ball. And we wouldn't be able to cook it anyway. So, screw it. And now we are basically entirely done with Trinsic. For now, anyway. we'll definitely need to come back to it at a later date. Oh, hey. Yep. And now...
Yes, that is the proper direction to travel, Avatar.
I'd forgotten the Guardian talks to you sometimes. Now we get to come up here. I really don't care about passion play, but I think this is... For some reason that sometimes pops up when you do the quick save. Doesn't pop up if you do the normal save, but I don't know what my saves look like at the moment, so I don't want to necessarily spoil things more than I already have with that cheat room. That is going to be it for this time. I know that was a fairly short session, but next session will be a little bit longer, and that will be Friday. So instead, I am going to send you off to, well, really whoever AutoHost sends you. Thank you, and see you next stream.